Welcome, Mo Crafty friends. I have a sweet treat for you today. Would you like to make some gingerbread houses with me? I actually have this project turned into a gingerbread tea light card. Now, before we get started, if you have not given me a follow, please do so. Just click that subscribe or follow button on YouTube. We'd be happy to have you along as fellow Mo Crafters. Okay, so I am using the kit from Stamps of Life. This is a gingerbread house kit, and I'm just showing the pieces that I've cut separately from that. I also have some letter sets that are separate from that I've cut as well. And you're going to go ahead and cut your house into a base shape fold, just like the Stamps of Life instructions show you. Now, what I've also done is pre-cut the windows as holes, and you'll see in a minute why we do that, so that we can have the light come through. Now this here is a strip of vellum that you're going to attach to the front of the card, overlaying the holes on your house. Okay, you can see that you want to make sure it's all covered on the back side, but it's okay to cover it or to glue it on the front, because what you're going to do is put this piece over it, and that will cover any of your negative pieces. In addition, make sure before you get too far ahead of me that you have your little chimney ready to glue on as well. In fact, we can just stick that on now so that we don't forget to do so. Eventually, when we get to the decorating, you'll have that already attached, okay? So once again, in the base fold card, put the vellum over the top, and then we're going to put the insert piece over as well. Now I'm just using a wet glue. This is a tacky glue. Any sort of wet glue will work, but as you can see, to limit the amount of glue I use, I am putting just some dots, just a real fine line of glue. Less is less in this case, or less is more. Okay, so go ahead and put that over your vellum. You can see that it covers that nicely, so you don't have those weird edges or backdrop. But you might see that I do have some pieces sticking out, and we're going to go ahead and trim those here in a minute. But let your glue dry just a little bit before you go ahead and put your other pieces on. Now I've cut a roof line in white. This looks like frosting when we add it all onto the house. And this is also using just a very thin line of glue. If you have trouble with glue, I do suggest buying a glue bottle that has a nice thin spout, and that way you do not accidentally overglue. Okay, although in the case of gingerbread houses, glue is frosting, and that's perfectly fine to put a lot of extra ones on a real house, of course. Okay, so as you can see, I've laid the border on. Now you see I still have an edge of vellum. If that happened to you, just take a fine point scissors and cut those pieces off, or you could do what I did not do and cut it ahead of time. Okay, so now we've got the roof line, we've got the base panel, but we still need to add a door. So you can cut your door in whatever color you want. If you received a kit from me, you probably received a white and a brown house door. I am going to go ahead and put the white on just for the example here. And again, less is more on the glue. I did actually cut the window ahead of time in these doors, but if you don't want a window, that's fine too. You can just apply it as is. Okay, now we have our base shape house, and that's just about it. We can get to the decorating part of the house decorating, which is the fun part. And then you can use whatever pieces that you have available. I cut a chimney in white as well. And what I'm going to do, because I don't want to use the whole chimney piece, in this case, I'm going to trim the top off. You can trim any pieces of bricks off that you wish, the top trim, however you see fit, but I'm just going to cut the trim off just to show you and apply just a tiny bit of glue to the back. Notice that I'm using really small dots of glue, always, always, and then I'm sticking it onto the top. Great! Now we have a base house set, and it's time to get decorating. So depending on what you have around in your house, some of these pieces do come from the Stamps of Light set. Some come from my own personal stash. So I've just sort of collected an assortment of things that I want to use. These candy pieces are cute. They actually do have a little cutout in them to make them look like a peppermint. And I am just using a poker tool to actually poke that out. Okay. Now you can use either the inside of that or the outside. I think the peppermints would also look cute colored with a marker if you'd prefer. So if you'd like to take a marker and just draw on your own colors, you can do that as well. This particular one was a red cutout, and another advantage to having a really fine tipped glue is to get to these little pieces really easy. It also sometimes helps to have a tweezers if that helps to apply them as well. Okay, now I've applied that, and we're just going to continue to make those candies until we're satisfied with how much we want to put on the front of the card. I do want to demonstrate that we do have candy cane pieces as well. And I stamped a little sentiment sign that looks like a candy house. I am actually going to put it on a backing. You can put it on any color you want. I'm showing it here currently with the red. And if it's too big or doesn't fit your house, feel free to trim it down to the size you need. Now, I'm also using some little red embellishments. These look like little buttons, if you will, and they are stickers. Although I do recommend, if you're using stickers like these, I got these at the dollar store. I never trust that they're going to stay on, so I always make sure and add just a little extra glue. And this one I'm going to use for the doorknob. You can also put it in the middle of a candy as well, or along the border, whatever you feel. Okay, here's a version all in red and white. This might be one you want to give to your mom. I am using the letters from Stamplerations if you're interested, and these actually are a nice size for the house. So here's a couple other iterations or versions of this house, including if you have some additional pom-pom colors of your own at home. So that's it. You just get to the point of decorating now, and whatever you decide to choose to create your creation. Don't forget, when you are done making your house, you should stamp or place your name on the back so everybody knows you made it. So I used a handmade by stamp, and I'm actually going to use these letters to tell everyone that this is a creation by Mo Crafty. So I hope you enjoyed this demonstration. If you do not follow me yet on Instagram, I would love a follow. I am at A Little Mo Crafty on Instagram. And also, please do subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'll have a couple other projects this holiday season, just in time for Christmas. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you have a wonderful holiday season, and I hope you enjoyed this project. I hope to see you next time on the Mo Crafty channel.